Hello, welcome to week 7 of my 12-week marathon running training. This was a really interesting, important week for me. It contained my longest run I've ever done and also the most miles I've ever run in a week. I ran 6 days. There was a couple of speed days in it, and then it finished with my targeted 22-mile run. The long 22-mile run was on my mind all week. I was really concerned about it. It was still fresh in my mind, the disaster 20-mile run I'd had in week 3, and then my race on the sand last weekend wasn't particularly encouraging either, so I had a lot of doubts about whether I actually had the stamina. I parked my car near the local gym, and my plan was to do a couple of long loops from there, and so I set off the first 8.5-mile loop, and I could tell right from the beginning that I was feeling pretty good. And you know, that first 8 miles went extremely well, and then as I got through mile 13, out of nowhere my Achilles started hurting me and getting more and more sore. Within half a mile I had to stop and stretch it out. I stretched it out for about a minute, and then I was able to run about another half mile. Then I had to stretch it out again, got another half mile out of it. Then it loosened up a little bit more, and I got maybe another couple of miles, but I was running really awkwardly. It was starting to get really hot, and by the time I got back to the car again for the second time at about mile 16 and a half, I was just exhausted and hot and discouraged. And to make matters worse, I took a slug of Gatorade or something, and it went down wrong. It trapped an air bubble in my stomach, and I nearly threw up, and I just kind of collapsed into the front of my car and turned the air conditioning on, feeling really sorry for myself. And it took a solid 10 minutes before I started feeling any better. I was lucky though that I was parked at the gym, and there's a 160 metre track inside the gym there, and so I kind of told myself to give it one last shot and go inside the gym and try and complete the rest of the run in there. I inhaled a Octane gel, and I started just trying to grind out the last few miles, and amazingly my leg just started to feel a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And by the time I realised I was going to make the 22-mile run, I felt good enough that if you'd put a gun to my head, I could have finished and run a marathon that day. So it worked out in the end. It was a bit of an adventure, and I was kind of limping the rest of the day, and I've been icing and heating alternatively my Achilles ever since then. A couple of really big learning points from this week and from this run in particular. The first is that the reason I'm doing a marathon is that I'm trying to understand what my capabilities are and my interests are in terms of distance running. Is this something that I can do and continue to do as a hobby in my 60s and even my 70s? Is it a way of me keeping fit and active and enjoying myself and making friends? Do I have the perseverance and the courage to keep going in adversity, and which you inevitably have in these long distance races? And so that was the purpose of taking part in and doing a marathon. And I realised that Sunday was as much an opportunity to understand that as any race could be. Who knows what's going to happen with this Achilles in the next couple of weeks, and maybe I've jeopardised my chances of running well in this marathon, or either running at all in it. But this was a unique chance to understand what I had and what I was able to do, and I really couldn't pass that up. And it kind of brings me on to my second main point. It's one I've brought up before, and that is, if you place all of your eggs in the one basket of a particular race, you're setting yourself up for failure. Anything can happen in a particular race. The weather could be terrible, you could get sick before it, you could get injured, you could just have a bad running day. And so it's extremely important to enjoy the process. I loved that last 3 miles of that run on Sunday. I loved going for breakfast with some new friends after my long run on Saturday. I enjoyed running 10 sprint intervals up a hill into a 25 knot wind on Thursday. I think what I'm beginning to realise is that the training and the hobby itself is something that, if that's all I get out of this, is enough for me. I enjoy all of those aspects of it, and the racing is a bonus. So week 8 coming up. I recognise it's going to be a short week, unfortunately. I'm going to have to, at a minimum, rest and ice and heat this leg for at least 3 days before I think I can even contemplate running again.